Is it okay to speed up hair color appointments by heating up the hair with a dryer?
A very big discussion, it concerns putting people under a dryer while color's processing. Let me say this, anything that is alkaline, bleach, lighteners, permanent dye, should never, ever be processed under heat. Heat speeds lift, it does not speed development, and the skin is an organ of exchange. When heat is applied and the pores are opened up, the chemicals in hair color that are to remain on the scalp and in the hair can penetrate into the skin. Some people report stinging, burning, allergic reactions, and in severe cases, hospitalization. So while hair that's wrapped in foil can be processed under heat, or hair that you've balayaged and you've put cotton at the base, and when nothing is in contact with the scalp, you can process the lightener with heat, or a demi-permanent shade can be processed with heat. Please, before you use anything, use and read the manufacturer's instructions, and I'll tell you why. The manufacturer knows the exact safest way to use the products. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, and one time someone's head literally swelled up and she looked like Frankenstein, and she was using the same formula she always used, and she was not processing it under heat. So, caveat, some people think it's funny. I saw a very well-known hairdresser and a lady who he wanted to have white hair, and he used very high volume developer and powder lightener on her scalp and put her under heat, and I could hardly stand to watch it. That is really a misuse of product and a misuse of our professional approach. Doing something fast doesn't always mean you're doing it with maximum safety or control. And P.S., there are some new powder lighteners and clay lighteners that will say do not process this under heat, even if it is not in contact with the scalp. Super important. And I will say this, nobody does this. I know you don't do it, probably. I don't do it. Manufacturers direct that 48 hours before every retouch, the client is to visit the salon for a strand or a swatch test, which is applied either behind her ear or the inner elbow. And it's supposed to be left undisturbed, and if there is no reaction after 48 hours, the hair can be colored. Now, if somebody reports and says that you were careless, the first thing the color company is going to do when you call them asking for help is say, did you give this client a strand test, or a patch test? And if you didn't, the color company does this, washes their hands of it. So be very, very careful. In my salon, I had a form women said that I had them sign as a new client that said, I've been offered a patch test. I do know that it's 48 hours and it has to be done every single time I visit. By signing this waiver, I know most people don't ever do this, but by signing this waiver, I hold the salon and its employees harmless if I ever have a reaction. There are also people who will bully you. I had a woman who was a new client, and a very odd kind of woman who came to my salon about 12 years ago, and she said to me she didn't want to sign the waiver, and I said, well, how can I help you? And she said, you've got to promise me that if you color my hair, I'll never get cancer. And I knew that I needed to say to her, you know, hair color is like fun. If you don't want, no one has to color their hair. This is not food. This is not shelter. This is a fashion thing. And I denied her service. Be careful.